Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to start covering the Smoke and Steel League, and we got the first match for Season 2 with Colquitt's Brigade versus 2 Corps on the Schoolhouse Ridge. Following up with our second map, the sides are going to flip, so Colquitt's will play CSA, and then 2 Corps will play as Union in Hill's Counterattack. But before we get into that, thank you to our Patreon members for the support. If you'd like to support, go to the link in the description where you get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment on the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Here are the current standings. We've just started. But essentially how this works is there's 4 different groups, and they are each competing to get into the playoffs. Each group, the first place team will make the playoff, and the second place team as well. The third place team will not, as it appears that everyone will play everyone in their group, and then that's who decides who makes the playoffs. Anyways, our teams for today. On the 2 Corps side, you have 2 Corps, 12th Virginia, 59th New York, Jackson's Division, 7th Kansas, and the Twin Banners. Whereas on the Union side, or the Colquitt side, you have Colquitt's Brigade, Corn Brigade, Free States Brigade, Missouri State Guard, 7th Texas, 10th United States, and the Alabama Volunteer Corps. So, we got a charge happening. Spawned in a little late because Wi-Fi, decided to do fun things once the round started. We'll get into numbers and specifics in a second, but the whole CSA team, the 2 Corps team, is charging across, trying to get this corner position. And here we are, starting the season off with a big bang. CSA trying to gain the corner. They're starting to gain at least the initial front snake fence. You have 7th Texas on the other side trying to shoot. A lot of the Union are coming down the road, kind of in a flanking position. But as of right now, it looks like CSA is trying to take it. And this is how you be successful on this map. You take the corner of CSA, and then you push over this way. Now, you could try to push anywhere along this fence line. However, this is the more traditional approach that if you take this corner of CSA, you're going to have really good success. So Union's starting to change their defensive line, moving on to this snake fence that kind of peers out to form this kind of L formation, because CSA is pushing over at least this snake fence, and they're continuing their momentum. Got CSA view here with Corded from 6LA. Contrary, you got Z Badays from Colquitt's Brigade. Sorry if I butchered that, but appreciative of both those guys giving us their frontline review so you could see what they're doing in the game. But it looks like CSA is completely taken everything they want, and 2 Corps has had a strong start here to this round, and they're going to continue pushing, and I mean, kind of why not? 1 flag is down right now. It is a CSA flag, and Union is trying to at least keep their defensive line on that so CSA can't pick it up. Those flags are going to be vital for the respawns for everyone here. You can see there's another flag down here in the distance. It looks like it was a CSA flag, but they've picked it back up. CSA already getting a shot, getting a guy or so. Zooming out here, CSA definitely has a numbers advantage, not by a large amount, but you do see 10th US, they're really trying to hold here so that CSA can't get that flag. And you could see Union coming out of main spawn. You'll see the mini lag spikes from this view every once in a while as a lot of people are spawning in. So, Union pulls off. CSA's taking the corner. They recover their flag. Union lost half a sage. CSA about a third. So, overall, this is a great start here for the CSA side. Numbers for the server are 330. Inbalance is 5 towards the Union side, or the Colquitt side. They have 5 on artillery, whereas the 2 Corps side on CSA has 11 on artillery. So that imbalance infantry-wise is 11 exactly. So CSA slowly starting to inch down the fence line. They're going to keep trying to put pressure on Union. A lot of the Union main spawns are kind of holding further up the hill. Just taking shots from a distance right now. So, got a couple Union holding down on the road on point.
Let's get excited.
So CSA sitting put as well, getting their respawns in. I mean, it's a strong start here for the 2 core side at least. So it looks like you do have 6LA, part of 2 core. They're pushing down the fence line right now. MSG is one of the Union groups holding near point, and they are very exposed here on the point since the rest of the team is not with them. And they retreat a little too late. So 6LA is going to get a good few kills on the retreating guys. I get wanting to get shots off there, but if you know you're going to retreat, do it before they hit your line. Because once they hit your line and you order retreat, your guys will focus on retreating and not killing. Which means your opponent is going to be able to get a couple kills on you while you're retreating. And you're not going to get any kills back because you're focused on retreating. So 6LA pushes them back. They are capping point. Union has formed a monstrous defensive line here. So perhaps Colquitt's here trying to bait the Union or CSA into capping here. They are down on tickets. So if CSA does cap the point, they would have to hold it for 20 minutes. And if the Union does retake it, within that 20-minute span, Union will regain tickets. But actually that ticket gap is kind of closed here. In favor of Union. It's kind of back to even here. Was not even a moment ago. So.
If you can fire from back in the defilade, just stay down here.
Flags down.
Oh, I love the defilade.
So a lot of Union now are trying to slowly creep over to this side here. 12th VA, looks like they're pushing up against MSG, who's getting closer to them, or at least they're close. And there we go. We could see that CSA has capped the point. And so here we go. 20 minutes on the clock. If 2 core and CSA, they hold the ground, they win. Something not mentioned at the beginning is the leading regiment. If they win a round, they get 3 points for their regiment. And all assisting regiments, non-leading regiments, will get 2 points if they win. So everyone has a reason to win on both sides. And so, as you can see, FSB is moving up to assist with MSG. The problem for Union here is, I mean, they do have an officer chat. All these officers are communicating in a Steam chat, which is why they should be able to do things more effectively. The Union is kind of spread out right now, and it looks like they're trying to use that to their advantage, hitting both sides of CSA. The Alabama Volunteer Corps looks like they are trying to flank around, and the 59th New York is holding the CSA right.
Brace, probably. Brace.
And they're hitting that side. Meanwhile, on the other side, Union's trying to hit this corner as well. CSA kind of formed an L. You can see the bottom part of that L, 12th VA, holding there with 7th Kansas. They're now charging up, but they're very much outnumbered here as the top part of that L kind of pulled back to the point. 12th VA holding strong, though. I mean, Union definitely outnumbers him here, but they're not necessarily engaging in a charge, which, the longer this counterattack goes, the better it's going to be for the CSA side, as everyone's losing tickets. That means everyone's going to be losing tickets with that black timer stopped. As a defender, you want that black timer to go to 0. And forcing everyone to lose tickets and not have that black timer go down is huge for the attacker. So CSA from the center kind of collapse over to assist where the 59th was. JD's taking the brunt of it. You have 6LA on the left, kind of on that corner there, getting some nice shots. And 2 flags are down. Union picked theirs up. CSA is in the middle of the road, and I think CSA is going to be able to outshoot the Union over here. Meanwhile, on the other side, Union starting to charge 12th VA out, and 7th Kansas. I think I see twin banners here as well for CSA. 8th Ohio's pushing forward. You can see 30th moving down the road to get some flanking shots on them, or maybe just go straight for the point. Looks like a couple of them are going straight for the point. FSB rolling up to assist as well. CSA still trying to get the remnants of the Union over there. Flag trying to get out for the Union. Can't. So, we'll see. CSA's probably going to turn and maybe try to contest this point. CSA losing one flag over here. And 10th U.S., the first big regiment at least to move through the point, at least from this side. So, CSA counter charges. Flag bearer made a big... Marv, you made a mistake. Although he might not pay for it. Corded's trying to get him. And he got him. So, you could see the flag bearer there. He stopped, turned around, and was like, am I in the clear? If you're retreating with the flag, just keep retreating. Don't stop. The odds of enemies being behind you are probably 100%, so there's no real reason to do it. So, 30th Ohio trying to charge through, keep CSA off point so they can retake it and keep that black timer ticking. 6 LA, they're still here trying to hold this corner. They should. 30th Ohio's very outnumbered. A lot of those friendlies didn't move in, but it looks like they're just trying to cap point over here. You can see Union respawn, starting to move down, picking up those down flags. So one good thing those retreating flag bearers did is they got them back far enough so their friendlies could pick it up. It looks like 6 LA, 2 Corps here. They're trying to just break through. And now 10th US is trying to hold them. You can see some 8th Ohio main spawns moving in. CSA lose the point to Union. Union regain a hair on tickets. Black timer continuing. Both sides about to drop to engage. And it looks like CSA is moving right again to get on that point. Some Union in the little creek behind defending that CSA flag, but also getting some rear shots. CSA is most likely going to turn and charge them out, which they are. MSG up here. Great chance to get Union as they're a little far out there and also recover your flag, which is desperately needed. Union just trying to slam here in the center where 8th Ohio was first going a second ago. See JD, 12th VA, 59th New York. They're on the flank here. And what a festive start here. Very quick start. MSG getting wiped in the distance. Union trying to spear ahead. This defense, FSB going up and over their snake fence. Union trying to desperately hold. Here comes 7th Kansas now, and Twin Banners pushing upward. And it seems that CSA is going to be able to hold this ground. 12th VA rushing forward as well. And this close quarters combat seems to be favoring CSA so far. Union, I don't know, it's going to be really hard for Union. They're trickling down from main spawn, which is a far ways away, and they're spreading out a long ways. Granted, CSA is too. But CSA at least has some nice flanking shots here. 59th, they've got that. You do have a couple Union guys back here. Some 3rd California guys. They're probably just harassing the CSA artillery, which is maybe why we saw that pop-up earlier. But regardless, the Union team is thrown off the point. And they are mass retreating to their main spawn. So, if CSA cap, again, they will now have to hold it for 12 minutes instead of the 20 minutes that we saw earlier. So, part of the issue for Union as well is CSA does have Buck and Ball, the 13th Virginia Regiment on this map. It does have Buck and Ball, which is 12th VA, Twin Banners, and 7th Kansas. So, they got that Buck and Ball on this map, which they're basically shooting a shotgun. Because normal shots in this game, you shoot 1 pellet, whereas the Buck and Ball, you're shooting 4 or 5 pellets, and so it acts as a shotgun. It's not the best at longer distance, but at least you're shooting out more projectiles. So CSA cap, 12 minutes on the gold timer. Black timer is stopped. Union's down almost a third of a morale stage here. And they're setting up kind of in their big lines on top of the hill, engaging in a shootout.
We're beside them.
Yep. And we'll see how Union wants to respond if they want to try to hit this corner again. I do like what Union at least tried to do last time. They tried to hit both flanks of the CSA defensive line. And it made progress, but when they were able to retake the point, but CSA was eventually able to overtake. So, see what Union does. They're at least creeping closer on this right side. That's where you have MSG and the 10th US. Circling towards the center of the Union line. You got Corn Brigade, Free States Brigade, 7th Texas, Colquitt's Brigade, and the Alabama Volunteer Corps on the far left. Twin Banners further up the hill. Further up the hill as well, moving down, you do have 8th Ohio. On the CSA side anyways, what do we got? So you got 1st Maryland. There was some balancing, so that might be why I saw both on. Hold up. So it seems the 1st Maryland portion of Twin Banner stayed on CSA, and the 1st Texas, 5th Florida, 10th South Carolina portions were on Union. So, Union inching closer. Back to what I was looking at a second ago. You do have the CSA Twin Banner portion, 1st Maryland there. 7th Kansas holding kind of far left with them. More towards the point, you got JD on the far left with 5th Virginia. More towards the center, you do got 6 LA. See 12th VA on the furthest right side. And then holding kind of in the corner in the distance, you do have the 59th New York. Union being awfully patient here, taking their time. And so they have now started to make a move about a 1/4 of the way into this cap. 8th Ohio pushing 7th Kansas off. At least they retreat. Union artillery hitting their own guys. So you can see MSG moving up here as well. 1st Maryland's going to take the fight to them.
Why the fuck? Why is it situational awareness, boys? Let's get into a boy.
Union going to turn and try to charge them out here.
This go, this go. Let's go.
You can see CSA is starting to move over this side as it looks like half the Union's collapsed over here. You can see in the distance, though, the other half of Union is trying to hit that other prong. 10th US, MSG, and 30th Ohio over here. You can see JD not going straight at them, trying to set up a defensive position kind of to their right. 30th Ohio going up and over, trying to charge them out. I don't like that move. I mean, only 30th Ohio went up and over. The rest of their friendlies sat back. And in a sense, it's kind of a defeat in detail. And so CSA overwhelmingly going to destroy Union here. They hold this side very well. Union only has 2 flags over here. Okay, that makes sense. So they've got 2 flags over here. The flag bearers are staying here way too long. And that was a good artillery shot. Union might lose 2 of those flags. Meanwhile, on the other side, they sweep through pretty quickly. CSA is probably not too concerned, though, as they're probably going to turn and try to defeat this half of the Union in a second. And it looks like they've started to do that right now. 12th VA turning that way right now. Union trying to set up, I don't know, they're trying to charge them out. Some holding in the little creek, some charging straight in, some holding on point. And again, these aren't major defeats in detail, but they're tiny enough to where they're swinging these engagements. You can see the rest of the Union starting to make their way out of Maine right now. And CSA is turning it on the point. They're going to hit Union into taking losses. Not like it matters, though. And so CSA is going to hold again. Union losing a flag in the center. Looks like Union is eventually going to be able to pick up their flags on the far side. But CSA spearheading, Union it taking losses, and they're going to retake this point. Meanwhile, Union main spawns collapsing downward right now. Man, the action does not stop.
Hold! Don't chase! Do not chase!
Don't pursue. Let's go. We need you now. We need you now.
And so you can see respawns from the Union main. That left flank, at least from a CSA perspective, that we saw die earlier, is now trying to get back into the action. But the problem is, at this point, Union's only going in with at most half their team, which you can see a good amount are either sitting kind of in the open, some are charging, and a lot are sitting back and reforming. So, strong start here for, I mean, just strong game here from 2 Corps on the CSA side.
Brotherly love.
So Union's going to take the time to reform. Doesn't look like it from high, but at least from down low you do have the elevation changes, which at least provide Union with enough cover to be able to hide from artillery and get their main spawns back in. What are we up to server-wise? Almost a full server here. So Union forming the big old defensive line again. I guess I don't know if you want to call it defensive line or offensive line. Regardless, they're forming a big line as they reform. I mean, this is a hard map for Union to win once CSA claim this road. It's been very evident this whole time, but Union losing that corner and giving free access to the point was astronomically huge. Again, Union shifting over to this right side. CSA is shifting this way as well. I wonder if Union's going to try to change up their strategy and perhaps all go down the same flank. I mean, if I were Union, I would do one of two things at this point. I would either A, send my whole team down this flank, or my whole team down that flank. So that's one option. I guess that's two options. But the other option is what we've seen happen the past couple times is when Union does the split prong attack, the CSA mostly collapse on this side, this CSA left, and kind of leave the Union right open. What I think Union should try to do is do the two-pronged attack again, except instead of sending flags over here, you send all the flags down this flank where the CSA is not going. And then as the Union die over here, they can respawn on the CSA right, and the whole Union team can be propped up over here. Anyways, Union's not going to do either of those things, and they're just going to go straight for the center here, which is not a bad idea. They're doing it with nearly their whole team. CSA is kind of spread out, so Union trying to take advantage. Nice artillery shot from them. Union has a little over 3 minutes to try and retake this point. Union's starting to hold their ground. The question is, are they going to be able to hold against CSA, who's starting to push down this way? Yeah, there they go. 12th VA with that bucking ball, I assume. He's going to move through here and shred. CSA still holding the point. They've got the numbers advantage. And they were just sweeping right through. You do have FSB. They've taken at least this side with some 5th Florida guys. And still CSA holding point. A couple of flags down. Don't necessarily know whose flags they are. Well, I think 2 of those are Union flags, though. And CSA is going to be able to hold this again. And with a little over 2 minutes on the clock, it is very much possible here that CSA just outright holds the CSA almost down to taking losses, Union almost to breaking. And again, I think Union, they might be at a point where they're like, crap, we just need to bonsai charge. We don't have a lot of time left, and that's fair. But I don't know. I think it'd be neat to have half the Union team charge over here, or a majority, and then send all the flags on this side. So I think that'd be a neat little idea. I don't know if it actually work. It really depends on the awareness of the CSA side if they see where the Union flags are going. Because if they see all 4 flags going one side, they might not send as many guys to this left side. Who knows? Regardless, a minute and a half left. Union spending this time to reform. Going to give CSA a chance to reform as well. And this next charge might end the round here. So, if Union has more bodies when that gold timer hits 0, they'll force an overtime. If CSA has more bodies on point when the clock hits 0, then they will win. So, here comes the Union charge.
Gotta go. We are juggernaut, boys.
And one Union flag is down. Great artillery shot, I think, from Union artillery. And Union slamming into the CSA line. Union drops the break, and CSA gonna take in losses in a second. 30 seconds left. There goes CSA down to taking losses. Union starting to turn CSA's right side, and they're holding for now in the center. CSA still has more bodies on point. 20 seconds. Union starting to hop up and over into the road. They're trying to get in. There's a lot of CSA still here. As you can see, they still have control of the point. 10 seconds left on the clock. CSA still has more bodies on point. Union trying to get the flags up and in. And that is going to be the end of our round here with a very strong CSA victory. So, really just props to 2-Corps. They kept the aggression up the entire game. And Union just could not hold. They had that buck and ball. They used it well in close ranges, and they were just able to shred through Union. So, really well done to 2-Corps, and they have started off Season 2 of the Smoke and Steel League with a resounding victory here. Well done. So, both sides are going to switch. We'll see how they do going in the next round on Hill's Counterattack. This should hopefully favor the Colquitt side, as Hill's Counterattack is a CSA bias map. But of course, you play the match, and we'll see what happens. Anyways, we will see you all shortly here for round number 2. Alrighty, here are the current standings going into round number 2. So, huge win there for 2-Corps. Anyway, some stats from the first round if you want to look at those. So, overall, that was a pretty resounding victory for the 2-Corps side. So, well done on their part. Anyways, here we go, starting Hill's Counterattack for round number 2. Alrighty, and here we go, starting the next round. Hill's Counterattack, so the sides have switched. And we missed the first couple of minutes due to some Wi-Fi, lovely Wi-Fi issues. But CSA looks to be pushing aggressive on the Union right side as they traditionally would. Union holding a defense on both sides. You'll usually see CSA send a smaller force over here, maybe some in the center, but most of the time this map is fought over this left side, and that's why Union's mostly defending it. Union will generally hold in the corner there, but it looks like Union's trying to use the little elevation changes to their advantage, kind of holding down a little bit, at least getting a little cover here. So over here you have 7th Kansas, you got 1st Maryland, 12th Virginia, and 5th VA. Holding at least for the Union side. And then on the other side, a lot of Union on this front. You do have 6LA, JD, and the 59th New York. The CSA groups that are attacking in certain locations. You do got the 10th US and MSG hitting this Union left. And then everyone else on this front, you do have the Alabama Volunteer Corps. Corn Brigade is over here. And FSB. So that imbalance is still 5 in favor of Union side, which is now 2-Corps side. Artillery-wise, Union doesn't have it, but CSA does, and they have 5 on it. So that imbalance, infantry-wise, is 10 for the CSA side, which, my apologies. Here's what I was looking at. So you can see CSA got 5 on artillery. It's an imbalance now of 7. So infantry-wise, 2 Corps as Union is up by 12 guys. So we're messing with some new stuff. So apologies for showing the wrong screen there. You could see more of the lovely stats of the previous round. Anyways, with that all being said, Union's kind of pulling back to a more traditional approach. This map is like a chess match, because what happens is Union doesn't have a whole lot of places where they can defend. They just kind of hold in this back straight fence, which eventually turns into a snake fence, at least for Union. But there's that, and then maybe the snake fence in the distance there where Union's holding, but there's not many areas where Union can hold. So the only thing that Union can do is hold there, because why would they hold further forward? They would die if they did that. So they got to hold back. And CSA can't really charge the Union out, because if they did over there, Union's holding out of bounds for CSA. If you look over on this side, Union is holding out, but if CSA charge them, they might just retreat into the corn, which is out of bounds for CSA. So the really only effective way that CSA can play this game is by shooting the Union down, which they seem to be doing now. Or, like I mentioned a moment ago with the chess match, they can cap the point, which will force Union out of their defensive positions into the open to engage in a melee on point. And if you don't engage in melee, at least you bring them out in the open, which is the concern with that. So, the point is in the center, as you can see with the big banner there. So, you even got Union falling back to about their spawn line. So, Union just trying to spread out and avoid casualties. We're 7 minutes into the fighting so far. And right now, things are looking very good for the CSA side, I would say. They're up by 1/4 of a morale stage of tickets, which isn't a whole lot, but if you're going to start off that way, I think that's a good place to start. So, anyway, CSA pushed up a little closer in the distance. Union kind of taking the fight to them. They're not afraid of this. MSG's holding up against that snake fence while the rest of the Union, or at least CSA anyways, 10th US is holding a little further back in the open. And Union definitely has the man advantage on this side. And maybe that's why Union, or 2 Corps, they've put more guys on this side, is because it's a sort of better defensive spot for Union. It's kind of out of bounds when you go this way. So CSA can't really outflank Union. You can't really outflank them anyways because it's wide open. So Union's starting to slowly outshoot CSA there. And Union almost halfway through the morale stage. This is the cap push. Union's in there. 58's holding their guys in there. At least trying to prevent CSA from getting an easy cap on the point. And if anything, if Union has a few guys in that bush and CSA try to cap the point with only like 3 guys, they can't cap it. They'll have to send more, and so Union might get better shots on them. So for now, CSA is fine with the shootout. They're winning the shootout, but it's not by a significant amount. If we look at the ticket balance for this map, the CSA has a 8% ticket advantage on the Union side here, and you can kind of see that in the shootout. 59th is charging with 6 LA here. And they're trying to pursue these guys. They're trying to get fallout in that flag. CSA losing flags on these maps and Union lines would not be great. So Union holds strong. And CSA not really pushing up. They're playing very hesitant right now. And so Union pull back. Tickets overall are even. You do have CSA. I don't know. What are they doing here? Colquitt's Brigade. Are they trying to charge the Union here? Because they're going through the middle of the wide open field. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to charge, but they're very much outnumbered here. I don't like this charge. Actually, it's Alabama Volunteer as well. This is that's a rough play for CSA. I don't understand. The thing with War of Rights is that these skirmish maps that we've been playing for years, for the most part, there is a strict meta that you play, and you don't really divert from that because the meta works. And I don't know why CSA hasn't capped the point. Maybe they're waiting for Union to hit engaged. But besides that, I don't know why you charge here. I don't know if you thought Union was retreating because they didn't have a lot of guys or what. Obviously, they don't see the spectator view like we do. But that was a unfortunate loss of tickets there for the CSA side. Oh my goodness, that was a little lag spike there. Anyways, so CSA spreading out a little more here. And they are still continuing the shootout. I don't get why they're not capped. They must be waiting for Union to hit engage because there's no reason why they would sit back and unless they think they can win a shootout. It's really hard to win a shootout these days. It's very, very difficult. The reason being is that a lot of these guys, in these long-range shootouts, most people are going to be standing up and die in formation, which means they lose one ticket for their team, compared to when you're skirmishing, which is when you're crouching or by 2 or 3 people. Because you'll lose 3 tickets when you die in skirmishing versus in formation where you lose 1. And there's not a lot of people out of line here. A lot of people are with their groups. Out of line means you're off by your own, like those few CSA guys running through the field. They're out of line, at least for the brief second, and they'll lose 5 tickets when they die. So a lot of people are dying in formation, which means tickets aren't going to be lost that quickly. On top of that, you have the flag respawns that are spawning everyone in quicker, which might make you think, oh, there's more people in at any given moment, meaning there's more shooting and more people dying, and that's true. However, when they made the flag change, they also added the change where it's a 20%, I think it's 20% ticket loss decrease per death. So less tickets are being lost per death, regardless of what formation status you're in when you die. So it's really hard to shoot people down. I mean, if we just look at the rate that CSA is going right now, we're almost 15 minutes into the match, a third of that timer, and Union, and CSA for that matter, are only going to be down 1 whole morale stage, which CSA's got to knock Union down 2 more to at least be able to cap and automatically win. So CSA is going to have to cap the point or they're going to have to charge. You can see they've put a little more guys over on this side. FSB and 7th Texas are over on this right flank assisting MSG and 10th US. But we'll see if CSA try to cap or charge when Union hits engaged. And you can see that it's kind of interesting. The Colquitt's team, both rounds, have set up very big lines on the maps, which is interesting to see. You do have some Union falling back there as CSA start to push down this fence line, so maybe CSA is going to try to charge out where Union's holding on this front. See CSA starting to inch their way a little closer right now. And Union dropped to engage. Some CSA, they've pushed up. They're trying to get around the flank. Colquitt's and Alabama Volunteer Corps here. They're getting some nice flanking shots. Some Union have pushed a little forward. They're going to try to hold that? No. 59's just running up, taking their shots and falling back. I'm still surprised CSA is not going for a cap. They have kind of cornered Union, but if they charge, I don't know how intent Union will be on holding that ground. They might just retreat right away. Anyway, CSA dropped to engage. 12th VA on the right side, pushing forward. You got Corn Brigade over here. And are they charging? Why are they charging? I don't know if they thought not a whole lot of CSA are here, but they played awfully aggressive here. And this is possibly a great way to give CSA some tickets. You have some CSA pushing forward. 8th Ohio looks like they're just going to charge in, trying to take advantage of Union pushing themselves up right next to their line. 7th Texas, 30th Ohio doing the same. And that is a huge blow to the Union side. Some more Union are trying to assist 7th Kansas. Trying to push up, but it's going to be no avail here. In the matter of a minute, Union has dropped a third of a morale stage. So, that was... I don't know why Union pushed up there. Maybe they didn't think CSA was there. At least not there in large numbers to where they could take them, but they paid a price for going up there. Union on this side's falling back a little further. You can see some CSA are starting to inch downward, but Union is now down a half a morale stage. And CSA kind of, I don't know. I mean, they'll hit, at this rate, if they keep it a shootout for the rest of the round, they'll hit Union in breaking with at least 5 or so minutes left on the clock if they just do a shootout. 12th VA is returning to the corner here. I think they're trying to get a flag, which they do. But, that was a decision. CSA charging Union down here. A little scatter of a charge. CSA artillery team killing 1. But you can see Union's not too excited to at least push down this side. And it looks like we've gone into a little lag spike here. Everything's frozen, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back in. Apologies about that. But it looks like CSA is taking the corner here. Union trying to hold. Looks like a good chunk of CSA maybe fell back, or maybe they're just really clumped up over there. Regardless. A couple CSA are going up and over and charging in, just trying to get some kills. And this close range shootout is definitely going to be to the advantage of the CSA. And definitely it's going to be a lot larger of a ticket decrease for Union than it was before with the longer range shootout. So CQB playing a little more aggressive with their team this time. Union, while they do have the corn, so CSA can't see them. I mean, CSA probably just has to fire where those flags are, and they'll most likely get a hit. I at least see it from what CSA. I mean, a lot of smoke, actually. So, but as long as they're kind of shooting straight at that corn, they should most likely get a hit there. Union almost down to engage. CSA a little past halfway through the engage stage. Union's still intent on trying to hold this corn corner, which is a little fascinating. I mean, Union, if they want, can turtle back here. I mean, they can go back a fair amount of ways, but maybe they don't want CSA capping the point. But frankly, CSA is not playing aggressive at all, so this is great for CSA. Union almost down to taking losses. 12th VA still on this side. CSA having corn brigades here. Looks like 8th Ohio anyway, shifting out maybe to get some shots in the open. 12th VA looks like they're going to move over to assist their teammates, which desperately need some help here. Union trying to spread out a little bit. And so the whole Union team has committed themselves to holding this side. I mean, Union being down a third of a morale stage, that's unbelievably huge. That allows CSA to keep this strategy of sit and shoot from a distance. It allows it to keep working. Now, based on the charges of last round, 2-Corps side, the now Union side, was downing those. Obviously, it's a new round and a new map. But the issue for CSA is that if they do take this clock down to, what, 5, 6, 7 minutes left on the clock when Union hits break and they try to cap there, can they win that charge is the question. Maybe they cap though. It looks like 8th Ohio's just running through the point. 30th Ohio's going to try to get flanking from on top of the hill. So, if I'm CSA, I don't know if I would be so confident in my charging ability. But obviously it's a different map with different situations. CSA could probably throw some artillery shots. You do have CSA moving down the hillside right now, 30th Ohio.
Two ranks.
Trying to get closer to get even more hits here. Union dropped to taking losses. And so Union's kind of crushing them the corner. CSA is capping. Now you have to be in skirmishing to cap, meaning you gotta be by 2 or 3 people. But if one person is on point that is in skirmishing or in formation, then they will be accidentally be capping point, maybe intentionally, but normally in that situation that would be an accident. You can see CSA, they figured out whoever was on point and he ran off or he died. So, I mean, Union's not doing terrible on tickets. It's just time is going to be a major concern. These charges are going to be big, but at this point it's just a sitting and waiting game. I am surprised Colquitt's Brigade is not playing the traditional cap the point. Maybe they're worried that if they cap the point, Union charges them out, they would lose in that charge. Because they did kind of iffy with the charges last round, and then they would be down on tickets. So instead, they're opting for more of a shootout, which in theory should work, as these long distance shootouts are generally 1-to-1 trades. There's so much randomness when it comes to shooting. Obviously you aim your gun and you try to aim it, but it's hard to shoot in this game in the first place. And then there's randomness where with the bullet, there's sway with your gun. There's so many factors that go into where your shot goes that I think it kind of dumbs it down to both sides are shooting at an even rate in terms of kills. And so it's a 1-to-1 trade, and the attackers have more tickets overall, like CSA's 8% more tickets. So they would, in theory, slowly win the shootout, but obviously circumstances can change based on a lot of different things. I mean, that's the thing with War of Rights. There is no specific set scenario that happens every time, which is why it's still interesting to watch these maps even after many years of playing this game. So Union's only down by a hair on tickets right now. CSA is kind of pulled off the corner a little bit. They were taking a lot of heat. That's no surprise. Obviously dishing out more lead, but as Union kind of spread out and CSA was in the clump, Union could throw a lot of shots, and they would most likely be hitting those shots, which is maybe why we see that ticket gap kind of glows a little bit in Union's favor.
Pull it back, Sicky back! Pull it off this fat tail! Let's get going!
So I mean, CSA, they're really going to ride this out. I think this will have been the first Hills counterattack I've seen in a long time. It could be the first for all I know, where the attacking team does not early cap at any point. I mean, especially since that flag change where each death is worth 20% less tickets. I mean, it's hard to shoot your opponent down, but maybe Colquitt's is showing that it can work. Obviously, it doesn't leave you with a lot of time left when the defenders are going to hit breaking, and obviously that could be a concern. But I think a big conversation might be had later in this match, because right now Union, they're down a little bit on tickets, and if Union didn't charge up there earlier and didn't get completely wiped, Union could be ahead on tickets right now, because remember, Union was down a third of the morale stage after that charge, and right now the tickets, it's like an eighth of a morale stage difference, so Union's caught back up. For all we know, if that charge didn't happen, Union could be up on tickets right now, which would be humongous. Because when an attacking team does the strategy of sit and shoot, they're not going to have a lot of time left at the end of the game, so every ticket matters. And if every ticket matters, that'll just be huge. I mean, if Union doesn't charge over there, 12th VA and 7th Kansas, then that could have saved the Union another 3 or 4 minutes in a shootout. So Union starting to realize that the situation's not great, so they're starting to pull back. And they are trying to turtle. They are saying, CSA, you are going to cap this point. We're not just going to let you shoot us in the breaking and then cap and win. So I like that play from Union. They're spreading out very much so in the corner, trying to go back as far as they can. At least some are. 12th VA. JD heading back there. And this is what Union's got for now. CSA might continue shooting at this for a few minutes, but I don't know how long they'll sit and shoot. They've got 16 minutes. That is a lot of time. And if they do end up hitting Union to breaking, they could just cap and win, but they might need early cap here. I mean, the thing is, Union's not down a whole lot of tickets. So if I were Union, I wouldn't full send back. I would maybe, I don't know, I think you got to be shooting back at the CSA here. Actually, I'm spending some time thinking, and actually, I don't know. I guess either option works. I mean, Union could be sitting and shooting, making CSA think they're still in an engagement, and they could still hold back to avoid more ticket loss, so that CSA still don't cap the point. But if CSA do cap the point, Union would have an opportunity to regain a slight amount of tickets. And also, if they win dominantly with the Chargers like we saw last round, they could have a chance to get a ticket lead. So, it's kind of a risk or a gamble on both fronts. And it looks like Union's turtled. CSA stopped their firing. And for the first time this match, we're going to see CSA capture this point. See, Union looks like they're going to try to retake the point by pushing on this side. 6LA out in front, 59th coming around the side. And if Union pushes through this as a team, they have a chance to defeat CSA in detail and potentially retake the point. MSG still trying to hold this side. Some 10th US guys are moving into the open on the left. You can see MSG falling back. A hair late. A couple of those guys are going to die. And so Union as a team, this is how you do things as a defender, people. CSA, oh, they're teetering. They don't cap. They've seen that Union's come back out, and so they want to have an engagement. So CSA really don't want to early cap. But CSA's kind of spread out right now. Now, I think they're holding here because there's a hair of a defilade, but it's still in the complete open. So, wow. Union halfway. Seriously, Union would be up by a third of a morale stage right now if that Union charge didn't happen over there. This is unfortunate. See 8th Ohio starting to shift over. CSA is trying to gather up. And CSA is clumping really tight here. And with Union being so spread out, that shootout, if CSA stay clumped like this, is going to favor Union. I mean, when the whole Union team is spread out shooting into a clump, they're shooting in from all directions. And so if they miss the guy in the front row because they're in your clump, you'll probably hit someone behind, assuming your elevation of your shot is okay. So, meanwhile, you got 30th Ohio pushing up. I don't know if they realize Union's in the corn. But I don't know if CSA is trying to pick up the pace. At least 30th Ohio trying to get closer to deal some damage. But Union should have the advantage in the shootout. They've got the cover. They've got fences and crap. And they definitely outnumber 30th Ohio here. You do have some CSA over here. Trying to hit the corner here. 8th Ohio trying to get some flanking shots. So Corn Brigade trying to hit the flanks. 30th Ohio's collapsed back in the center. And with 11.5 minutes left, both sides getting closer and closer to that breaking stage. Doesn't really matter as much for CSA as it does for Union. But so, and Union's actually ahead on tickets right now. CSA, oh my, I keep bringing it up, but it cannot be understated how huge of a charge that was that Union did earlier on.
Ace back, ace back, ace back.
I don't know who ordered that charge, but that was abysmal. So, CSA falling further back as they're getting beat in the shootout. And I think it's just because 30th Ohio went up there and got destroyed. 8th Ohio pushed a little far forward. Union kind of pushed at 8th Ohio, who's trying to act as a skirmisher group on that side. And so Union's just defeating CSA in detail a little bit. And this is so far, I mean, this whole day is a strong performance from 2 Corps. I am shocked CSA is not sticking by the normal medal capping point, but CSA is completely falling back now. Got a couple more CSA shifting down to this side. And 8th Ohio is still on the corner here trying to flank. So, I mean, this is huge. CSA is falling back. CSA is losing precious time here. I mean, how long? Oh my goodness, how much time is CSA going to have when Union drops the braking? Union dropping the braking is going to happen. CSA, it looks to be shifting. Some of their guys are sticking in the center row, and most of them are moving to the top, though. Alright, I mean, at this point in the match, the odds that either side its final push in last stage is kind of small unless there's a bunch of charges in a row, which I don't think we're going to see charges for the next couple of minutes. Because, unless CSA caps the point. And at that point, then there's going to be charges. And then both sides could get down the final push last stand. But looks like CSA is going to cap. You have 6LA shifting over. Who's on point for CSA? You do have AVC and CQB, mostly CQB on point. So they're gonna cap it now. They don't, it seems like, I mean, they really don't have a lot of time left. They're not getting Union down fast enough, and even if they do get into braking, Union has enough tickets to hold, so CSA is going to cap this point. If they hold it for 7 minutes, they win. But CSA does drop the breaking. Now Union has two options. Both of them require aggressiveness. Union could try to charge quickly and retake the point quickly so they can keep that black timer ticking down and get that clock to 0. Or, on the contrary, CSA is now considered the defending team, meaning they can hit last stand. Similarly, Union is the attacking team now because they're trying to retake the point, and they can hit final push. What this means is that if the Union team takes the point when CSA is in last stand, Union will win the game right now. Because CSA is considered a defender, they're in last stand. Normal rules say that if the defender's in breaking and you capture, you win. However, for the counterattack phase, that defending team, which is the CSA now, must be in last stand. So, Union's taking their time right now. A minute's been burned off the clock already. And we'll see how Union does this. I mean, if I'm CSA, you try to hold this point as long as you can, but you need to not hit last stand. That's CSA, that's what they need to do at this point. Unless they think they can hold it for 5.5 minutes without going into last stand. But of course, we'll see how the dominoes fall. Here comes Union. Let's see, 1st Maryland, 7th Kansas, 12th VA starting to push up on this side right now. It seems 5th VA is over here as well. They're trying to cap on the very edge. That's the cap push right there. So maybe Union's going to try to retake without minimal, or with minimal casualties. But CSA has a fair amount of people on point right now, and they could always send more. Union creeping up on the right side of your screen as well.
No soundboard. I see. Perfect.
That's that one. That's that one. They got Dusty. Like shouting in town. You can just be like, "What are you gonna fucking do about it, Dave?" And they'd be like, "Well, I guess nothing."
I don't know. Union pull off kind of that cat bush there area. You do have some CSA pushing up to get a couple nice shots here on the Union on the right. That got a good few kills there. When is the Union going to go for this? Some CSA trying to get a flank from behind here. I mean, Union's, at this point, they're not pushing CSA in the last stand. You got to use the full 7 minutes. You got to constantly play aggressive to do that, but you can't knock your opponent down a whole morale stage in 4 minutes. That's not possible. I mean, it might be if everyone hits F9 and respawns.
Dang, no.
What is the gripper doing? But Union, I don't know why they're sitting and dragging this out. Maybe they're just trying to wait for the right moment, set themselves up rightly. You do have some Union movement kind of towards the center. Got more Union kind of shifting up here. I mean, when is the Union going to go? They're shifting up on the right side of your screen now. CSA kind of in a nudge. Are they pulling off the point? They might be. Colquitt's and Alabama Volunteer Corps pulling off. You only have a 1st Texas guys now sitting on point. So Union could retake easily if they want. Union now trying to put pressure on the CSA left, taking shots from a distance. 3 minutes left on that counterattack timer. CSA, obviously, they don't necessarily see it. I mean, they could because it's a wide open field, but CSA's got nothing on point. They're retreating even further. I think CSA was just trying to get Union to breaking and then pull off so that they don't hit last stand, and I like that a lot. Obviously, Union's still in a great spot. Here they go. They're starting to move out to retake the point. Union is up by 1/3 of a morale stage right now. And if they hit CSA down the final push, that clock will drop to 2-3 minutes. Depends. It's different on each map. time it takes to get from your main spawn as an attacker to the point twice without getting your bayonet and reload on is how much time you get in that final push time. So Union's going to retake this point. Once they retake, CSA's probably going to charge to try to cap this point and win. Now, Union having that ticket lead is huge. You got Union gathering on that side as well. Where will the CSA go? Will they charge right away? Will they keep a shootout? Union isn't breaking. So CSA can capture that point and win automatically if they win in a charge. But again, Union has the ticket lead. So, Union starting to retake now. This right side starting to collapse around. It's all of 2 core here collapsing towards the center. They're getting a little closer, but not going too far off. So who's going to win the charge? It's going to come down to that. Last round, the 2 core side who's now playing Union, they dominated all the charges. They just swept right through, but now they're going to kind of be on the receiving end of a full CSA charge. The census is similar to Schoolhouse Ridge. Union, or 2 core sides holding the point, a wide open field. Oh my goodness, both sides in a big old line shooting across the open field here. 8 minutes on that clock. Clock is ticking. Union doesn't regain any tickets because they had more tickets overall. And CSA might be thinking we're going to sit here. We have some time. We're going to use our artillery to our advantage. I don't know if you have enough time to just shoot your opponent down. 2. Last stand. A lot of Union clumped up over here, which would be nice for the CSA artillery, which is holding back there. Not a whole lot of guys there. So you can kind of see what both sides are seeing. CSA viewpoint here taking shots over there. And then you got Corda with 6LA.
Central, stay on your feet.
You do see CSA trying to flank around the Union right. That's where Corded's looking now. You can see Union's kind of shifted this way to engage with them. Union's still up on tickets. CSA will slowly start catching up in a shootout, I'm assuming. But Union reinforcements forces 8th Ohio to fall back. 7 minutes on the clock.
Shoot it up! Shoot it up!
6LA did win Season 1 for the Smoke and Steel League. So, are they going to keep that momentum going into this new season? Now 2 core instead of just 6LA. They added their 5th VA brethren on there.
Keep pouring that fire in them. They can't hit us.
Remember, they're Yankees. They can't shoot, boys. Remember that.
So, CSA's gonna have to charge if they want to. They do not have enough time to have this be a shootout right now. I really think they're just trying to even the gap up in tickets right now in a shootout, because they'll slowly start gaining on the Union, and that ticket gap has kind of closed right now.
I need every rifle fired!
How do you think we're gonna do? Flag up, get the flag up.
I actually, that Union bar just dropped a little more. It's still dropping. I don't know. CSA's playing a risky game here, but obviously if CSA charge, they'll hit themselves in the final push, and that timer will drop. Only about a minute or 2 now. Union would hit last stand most likely. CSA artillery has to be hitting these shots, and they're overshooting by a long shot right now. Yeah, you would think that, not saying artillery is easy by any means. I haven't played it a whole lot, but you would think we've had artillery out for 4.5 years at this point, and you've been playing this round for 40-some minutes. Actually, it's like 45. And you're overshooting shots that badly. So, it's not like Hill's counterattack changes over the years by any means. Actually, Union is going to hit last stand if they keep shooting this out. I did not think that would happen. Wow. 4.5 minutes left. CSA's almost down there as well.
South Carolina. They got blue pants on. Their enemy.
Blue pants, motherfuckers.
And perhaps maybe CSA's taking a slight ticket lead. Nothing too significant, though. Anyways, CSA starting to shift down, get a little closer to the Union line here, who's slowly starting to pull back. They're just trying to delay this as long as possible.
Get online and spread 'em.
4 minutes on the clock. Again, Union just trying to move back to, again, delay the inevitable at this point now. It's, you know, tickets are a crazy thing. They drop quicker than you think sometimes. Both sides still, they're on the edge. These bars are longer than what we see, so they'll be here for a hot second. So it's like when a team falls to a new morale stage, they don't move down on that new morale stage for a while. And it's kind of similar to the end of a morale stage as well. Union will probably hit last stand first. And we're at a point where that final push timer is not going to drop the black timer at all. So Union just needs to keep that clock ticking and not hit last stand, which there they go. CSA is going to be able to shoot Union down for 3 minutes and then charge in. If CSA has more bodies on point when the clock hits 0, they win. Looks like they're going to force that hand now and charge straight in. I mean, if they wanted, they could keep shooting for a few more minutes. But at this point, they kind of have infinite tickets because final push, you don't lose any more tickets. You just have limited time, and that time is already below the normal final push threshold. So CSA move on to point. Union trying to avoid the melee as long as possible. 30th Ohio's trying to charge in. CSA dropped the final push. Clock doesn't change. So as they try to hit that, Union's going to be collapsing from all sides as one desperate stand. Point still going in CSA's favor. Not terribly surprising. If the Union guy dies, he don't come back. Now, you can see the last Union respawn wave maybe from their last stands are coming in, but this was a very cold and methodical, slow, but methodical victory from CSA here. It really makes you think, if 12th VA and 7th Kansas do not charge on the top of this hill, do Union win this game? That was a third of a morale stage ticket lost in an instant. I don't know. 2-Corps played this round really, really freaking well, though. They almost, in my opinion, deserve that victory. So, regardless, maybe the battle would have changed if Union didn't lose tickets like that. For all we know, CSA could have capped early. But regardless, good start here to our Season 2. Good 2 fights. Mostly charging action for the most part. So, well done to both sides. I will throw the standings up after this little action report plays through. But, holy cow. Wait, it kept track of the casualties even though I left in the middle of the round. It doesn't show the whole round on the playthrough, but it kept track of the casualties. So, yeah, well done to both sides. Good, hard fought round here. And with that being said, we'll get the standings at the end of today up on the screen in a second. And here's the updated standings based on everything we've seen this week. So, basically, everyone is tied right now except for Missouri State Guard, but they didn't have a leading round. So, with that all being said, thanks to Someone Conceal for letting me record. It's going to be start to a great season. And we will see you all in the next one. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon where you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts that we do. You can advertise your regiment on the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord, merch, Instagram, X, and TikTok. All those links are in the description. And we will see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your night.